Hey everybody, I'm Curtis.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is Love at First Fright. You know who I am.
I'm Bill Wilkins.
No. No.
What were you trying to do?
I was leading into a new segment that we're doing on the podcast, brand new.
I can't wait to find out what it is.
It's called the Statham Report.
Okay, Statham Report.
This is where I watch a Jason Statham movie that has been forced upon us by a streaming service.
Right.
Usually alone in the dark. You know, the blinds drawn, curtains closed, because I don't want anybody to see my shame.
Right.
And then I talk about that movie for a very brief period of time.
Okay, love it. What's new in the Statham verse? Well,
it's kind of old.
Oh, okay.
Well, I say kind of old. It's like 4 years old.
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah. It's not even.
on a Sunday.
Whenever you're listening. It's throwback whatever day you're listening to this on. No, I watched Wrath of Man because... Oh, yeah,
it kept auto-playing.
Yes. Hannah and I would keep trying to watch stuff on Hulu, and every single time, it didn't matter what we were watching. Truly, it did not matter what. Mm-hmm. It would try to autoplay a 2021, I think it's a Guy Ritchie movie, called Wrath of Man, and it stars Jason Statham.
It's because it knows.
It knows what I want.
We have finely tuned the algorithm.
Yeah, and I'm not... Listen... I watch action movies like pretty much all the time. Mm-hmm. I like them. They're kind of a guilty pleasure for me. They're my turn your brain off movies. I pretty much pay attention to like any other movie, and action movies I don't care that much. Right. Like when I go into them, I'm there for one thing and one thing only, and that's the choreographed fights and how cool those are.
Sure.
And that's it. You know. So anyway, this one not as good. Just put it out. It's not quite as good.
Give me a little taste. What's it about?
Right at the beginning of the movie, we have these two characters. One guy's like loading an armored vehicle with money, and he's like one of those Brink security guard guys. And he's talking to him, and this is some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard. I can't even really remember it, but it's bad. Like, it doesn't sound good. It sounds like a fake conversation that was like entirely ad-libbed by like two first-time actors.
Great.
So not good right from the outset. And I was like, fuck, this is like 2 hours.
Me, anytime I look at the runtime of a movie. God damn it.
No! Anyway. I'm not going to try the entire plot here because that's not what this is about. I mean, the Statham Report's about that, but this podcast would be too long.
Right.
Anyway, the basic conceit of the movie is those two guys, their armored truck gets robbed right at the start of it. Mm-hmm. And then the guys, you overhear that one of the burglar guys has killed the two security guards, and he also killed a civilian. And then it like speeds off. And then the next thing we're introduced to is Jason Statham getting a job at the same company that armored truck was for.
Let me guess. The civilian was his wife.
Wrong.
Child.
Yes. But we don't.
There's only two options.
We don't really learn that until we know what it is, right? Like, because why else? Who would care? Mm-hmm. But the kind of complexity of this, because everyone's like, oh, this is because like he gets the job and like they go through like this like training for him.
Sure. After
this incident occurs, and he's like supremely average at everything. Like they have a shooting test that he does. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was weirdly in 2 movies that I watched recently. But he was like an FBI investigator guys from Mindhunter.
Ah.
Not the smaller one, but the older dude.
Not the small one.
The more gangly of the two. Not that guy. The other older one. I can't remember his name. Anyway, but he's the guy that like trains them and everything. And they call him Bullet. That's his cool nickname. All the guys in here have cool nicknames. Anyway, but Jason Statham's character like scores like supremely average.
Holt McCallanley.
Was that it?
Is that his name?
I don't know. Show me a picture.
This guy?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, he's got a cool name.
That's a fucking cool name. Man, his real name is Holt?
Holt.
They called him Bullet in the movie.
That's great.
That's sick. Holy shit, that's awesome.
Also, he
kind of sucks in the movie.
I don't know if anyone else will, like, appreciate this the way I do, but the one that you're referring to as the small one is Jonathan Groff.
Yeah, that guy. If you've seen Mindhunter and I described not the small one, you knew I was talking about.
Oh my god.
Everyone was like, okay, yeah, the kind of gangly looking guy, and then and then the other dude.
The other guy.
Anyway, the other guy, Bullet, Holt, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He trains him, and Jason Statham scores like supremely. Like he gets like just past like a 70% on like the shooting and driving and everything to become one of these officers. But then the more of the trucks get hit. Like he's on the job in one of these trucks and it gets hit. But then when it gets hit, he's like expert marksman. He like hunts the dude down or whatever. And the movie reveals over the course of the thing is that he is like the boss of his own criminal network, and his son was inadvertently like they were just going to hang out, and then he ended up having to like case the same place that he's going to work at because his crew was going to hit armored trucks. Mm-hmm. And then this other crew ends up hitting it, and he didn't realize that was going to happen, and that's when his son gets killed. So then he goes, it's a revenge thing or whatever.
Right.
And then we go through all of that. It's fine.
Okay.
There's a lot of bullets.
Mm-hmm.
There's some relatively, like, I guess, like, if you're into these kinds of people or whatever, they're in it. Like, Jason Statham's in it, obviously. Holt is in it. Mm-hmm. Love him.
Love that guy.
Yeah, love that guy.
Great work.
Jeffrey Donovan is in it. Burn Notice. You ever see that show?
I've seen
ads for that show. You know, the main guy on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that guy.
All right.
I like him and stuff.
Sure.
It was kind of missing like Timothy Olyphant for me. Mm-hmm. If he would have been in it, great movie. Fantastic movie. Timothy Olyphant's my other, like, I'll watch anything he's in.
True.
He gets typecast as like a U.S. Marshal, like, a lot.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
When you find your thing.
Yeah, but like, give him other stuff. Like, I love seeing him in that, but he can do other stuff. He is really funny.
True.
So, like, let him do other things,
Yeah.
But also, I guess he doesn't have to take the jobs if he doesn't want to do it, so maybe he likes doing it. I don't know. Yeah. You do whatever you want, Timothy Olyphant. I'm not your dad.
Do you ever consider that maybe those are the only jobs he's being offered?
Yeah, that's typecasting. That's what I'm saying. Don't typecast him.
But then you're like, but he can take whatever jobs he wants.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but those are the only jobs he's getting.
Yeah. So don't typecast him. But also, if that's what he wants to do, then he can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm saying open it up to him, and then if he wants to keep only taking those, that's great.
Yeah. Maybe he loves that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe he does love that. Maybe when
he was a child, his dream was to be a U.S. Marshal.
Be a U.S. Marshal.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And then he got older, and he was like, well, if he can't be a U.S. Marshal,
pretend to be
play one on TV.
Marshal. Yeah.
It's kind of like that those who can't do teach.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of he teaches how to play a kind of a flawed U.S. Marshal character in any given show or TV or movie or whatever. Anyway, so I did that. I watched a couple other movies by myself.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go into those.
Well, this is the Statham report.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna talk about those.
Yeah, don't be ridiculous.
I was gonna say, like, that guy Holt, Bullet, not the gangly one.
Not the small one.
Yeah, not the small one. He was weirdly in another movie that I watched, and I did not know he was gonna be in it. He just showed up, but he was also a bad guy in that movie.
So he's also been typecast, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone's getting typecast in these things.
Yeah.
Jason Statham's not getting typecast. He just likes doing action movies. So, like, he's just picking those roles. He's typecasting himself. He's being typecast, but that's what his goal is. That's his lane. He wants to be there.
Can you imagine Jason Statham doing literally anything else?
Yes, and I want him to do it. Like, I want him to be in, like, a serious romance drama. And I've seen him in comedy stuff, too. But it's normally action comedies where he's kind of playing, I can't remember what the movie was called, but he plays like a secret agent character, and he is very much kind of like making a joke out of the whole thing, which is pretty good. But I want him to be in like a romance,
hard-hitting marriage story, but put
yeah,
instead of Adam Driver.
Yeah. Oh, I hate you.
Every day I wake up and I wish you were dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's playing both roles. It's like a it's like an experimental artsy thing. Yeah,
one-man thing.
Yeah. I'd watch it.
I wouldn't.
That's okay. I'll watch it and then I'll do a Statham report on it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. You'll get to watch it vicariously through me.
Okay. Well, shall we transition into the main segment of the podcast?
Oh, that wasn't it?
No.
Oh, okay. I guess
the non-Statham report.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk about
the
this.
Statham report addendum.
Yeah, we're trying something else out on this one. We're going to talk about a different movie that isn't Jason Statham-centric.
Today we are talking about The Conjuring 2. Throwback to the very first episode of the podcast ever when we covered The Conjuring.
Yeah, so now we're here.
We're here. All this time later.
Yep.
So many episodes, so many that I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head.
I think this is going to be 40-something.
Sounds about right.
We're in the 40s, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Conjuring 2. Let's go over a little bit about The Conjuring 2.
We just watched this last night, and if this isn't an indication about how we feel about the movie, I don't know what is. So get ready.
So, it is a 2016 American supernatural horror film. It is directed by James Wan, so they got the goat back. The screenplay is by Chad Hayes, Carrie W. Hayes, James Wan, and David Leslie Johnson. Mm-hmm. It's a direct sequel to The Conjuring, and it was the second installment, I guess. Yeah. Because I think they started doing spinoffs and stuff after this.
I think that's correct. I think it goes Conjuring, because Conjuring was 2013, and then 3 years later did The Conjuring 2, and then I think from there, that's when they started doing, like, Annabelle and the Nun and all of that stuff, because there's a whole Conjuring universe now.
Yeah, exactly. So, the cast for this one, we, of course, have Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson reprising their roles as Lorraine and Ed Warren.
Yep.
And then we have the family that's been impacted. So we have Madison Wolfe playing Janet Hodgson, Frances O'Connor playing Peggy Hodgson, Lauren Esposito as Margaret Hodgson, Benjamin Hay as Billy Hodgson. We also have Simon McBurney playing Maurice Gross, and Simon Delaney playing Vic Nottingham. There's a lot of people in this movie, but those are kind of the principal players.
Yeah.
In the story. So.
Yeah, we'll like kind of discuss it more in depth. I think right off the top, there's a lot of characters in this.
Yeah, it's a big story.
Yeah. Was The Conjuring based on a true story?
Yeah.
So
the parents are a real family.
Yeah, that's right. It's continuing the trend of based on a true story. Now, obviously, that's up to whether you believe the reports of the people who say they experienced and
these
then
hauntings.
Even past that, this is a movie rendition of it, so things are like dramatized and like they're not necessarily actually how things happen. They they made it better for the movie and everything. I think right off the top, one of the problems with this movie is
jumping right into the problems.
We'll cover like what the movie like is actually about. It's based on a true story of an event that happened in Enfield, England. So we're overseas now.
Yeah.
And
just for a little background, the Enfield hauntings or Enfield poltergeist.
Yeah.
It's been referred to as UK's Amityville.
Yeah.
Because it was like their big thing that became this huge media circus in the 70s that everybody was talking about.
Yeah. I think part of the problem is we're focusing a little too much on certain aspects of like Ed and Lorraine Warren specific. Like it's kind of like making them more like superstars.
Yeah.
Of this whole thing, and also there's way too many fucking characters.
There's a lot of characters. There's
so many characters, and I hate it.
They're trying to do a lot of like character development. And I think what that really means is that the movie suffers from like pacing issues because we have a lot of not necessarily directly related to the case at hand stuff going on.
Yeah.
We get like insight into Ed and Lorraine's marriage and their family life, and We get a lot with the family as well. The Hodgsons. We get a lot of like, oh, the dad left and they're having a hard time.
Yeah.
And this kid's got a stutter and he gets bullied at school. And, you know, there's just like a lot of backstory and characterization that really isn't necessary.
Yeah.
Especially because I would say 3/4 of the movie feels that way. And then the final act kind of just turns into any horror movie you can think of.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of whiplash. I will say I like the Conjuring universe. I like the movies.
Yeah, I do too.
But in my opinion, even though this movie was very successful and garnered pretty decent, you know, positive reviews, it is like nothing compared to The Conjuring. I think it's a huge
it's a big step down from The Conjuring. I don't like it nearly as much. Which is not to say I hate it. I've seen way worse movies.
Oh, totally.
I think, honestly, like, if I had to boil down my main criticism of this movie, it is, as you said, a pacing issue. I think it's over 2 hours long.
Yep, 2 hours and 5 minutes.
There was a point in this movie where you wanted to get up to, like, get something or whatever.
Yeah.
And you were like, how long is left in this movie? And I paused it, and there was an hour left.
Yep.
And until I had paused it, I was about to be like, I think there's only like 30 minutes left in this movie.
Right.
And so I was like, oh my God. I can't. I was like, this is how? How are we only an hour in?
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, with that said, just to kind of, in case it's been a while since you've seen this, the main story, it takes place in 1977. Ed and Lorraine Warren kind of come out of a sabbatical to go to Enfield, where they meet Peggy Hodgson, who is an overwhelmed single mother of 4, who tells the couple that something evil is in her home. They believe her story when the youngest daughter starts to show signs of demonic possession. And as the Warrens try to help the girl, they become the next targets of the malicious spirit.
Yeah.
So you have these 4 kids, and at the center of all of the hauntings is Janet, who's one of the middle children. And it kind of starts out slowly at first. She has bad dreams. She's sleepwalking, you know, has a couple of like weird experiences, but nothing that you couldn't write off as just a bad dream or whatever.
Right.
But it does start to amp up pretty significantly, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where other members of the household are experiencing things, objects moving on their own, knocks at the door and there's no one there, furniture being moved or thrown.
Yeah.
And it becomes kind of a media circus because they file a police report one night and then that's public record. So then people are like,
like a news reporter comes by and like wants to interview them, and then it like skyrockets from there, you know. And
basically Ed and Lorraine get roped in because the church has been contacted, but they don't want to officially get involved if they can't have something verifiable as being a haunting. They don't want to get involved in a hoax because it would hurt their, you know, image and credibility. So they send
credibility. Their reputation.
So they send Ed and Lorraine over, and they're supposed to get some evidence, and that's kind of the bargain that they've made, because Lorraine is like, she's had these visions of something bad that's going to happen to Ed, and so she doesn't want to take on any cases.
Right.
And the agreement that they come to is, we'll just observe, we'll try to get some proof, and then it'll be in the church's hands after that. We're not going to get overly...
We're not doing like an exorcism. We're not
right.
here to like do anything other than we're basically paranormal investigators. We're going to gather info and then give it to somebody who can actually do something.
Right. And there's other players involved. There's like a child psychologist she's like the skeptic of the group.
Yeah.
And she's sort of rationalizing all of the things as, you know, this is a girl with a troubled home life who...
She's seeking attention.
She's acting out.
You know, kids are really, you know, ingenious pranksters. And, like, at one point they, like, go over evidence in the movie. And, like, they're showing these photographs of, like, oh, yeah, like, the one guy's like, I have photos of her levitating.
Right.
And Ed's looking at it, and like to the audience too, like you and me, I'm sure we were both like, I mean, it kind of just looks like she's jumping from the bed.
Jumped off her bed.
Yeah, and that's what like the kind of skeptic character says.
So she's not really into it. The guy who took the photos, that's Maurice Grosse, who he's also based on like a real person. He was part of, I forget what it's called, the Society of Psychical Research, I believe.
Yeah.
And he is a firm believer that this is real.
Yeah, something is going on, yeah.
So, you know, you kind of have the skeptic, the true believer, and then Ed and Lorraine, even though I would say they're kind of biased, but they're sort of the quote-unquote neutral party of this investigation.
The most absurd part of it.
Right.
There's that scene where they're talking about the photos of her levitating and stuff. The one skeptic woman is talking about how she got like roped into a hoax one time by these other people, and she was like, I don't know which is worse, the demons or the people like reporting them or complaining about it or something like that. Right. And then Lorraine answers and goes, the demons. And I'm like, yeah, you would say that because you have a vested interest in this being demons.
Right. Like exactly. Yeah.
It's so stupid. Anyway.
It's kind of a lot. But, you know, even Ed and Lorraine, before the climax of the movie, they get video proof of Janet, the little girl, faking an event. You know, she makes it seem like stuff moved around on its own, but then they're actually able to see through a camera that had been placed that she threw the furniture around herself and like destroyed a room. So even Ed and Lorraine are like, sorry, but like we're not gonna stick our neck out for you because like it's tainted now. Even if you want to say that everything else before this was real and this was the only time she faked it, we can't trust you anymore. Yeah. You know? So even they kind of bail, though eventually they do.
Yeah, they're in the process of bailing. You know, Ed gets struck with this inspiration about, I don't know, the most easily decipherable message a demon or a ghost has like ever put out there. And he figures it out. I love that part where he's, if I'm right
about this. and then he coordinates the two.
He hits play on two tape recorders at the same time, so the overlapping messages spell out one thing, and I'm like, come on, man.
Speaking of Ed getting struck by inspiration, one of the funniest parts of this movie to me is when this is before Ed and Lorraine go to Enfield. And
this is insane.
And Lorraine like wakes up one morning and finds Ed in his office and he's painting at his easel. And she's like, oh, you got your painting stuff out. And he's like, yeah, you know, I had this dream and I just sort of felt inspired to, you know, paint what I saw.
Couldn't get it out of my head. I just had to get it on the canvas.
Had to put it down. And then, you know, Lorraine goes around to the side, and so the camera follows her. And he has painted the most horrifying, haunting image of a nun with black eyes.
It's just like black background. Yes. It's like disturbing looking.
Absolutely disturbing. And he's so casual about it. He's like, yeah, I just
had to get it down, man. You know?
Just had to do it. And of course, Lorraine's like,
yeah. She's like, that's the thing that I saw that wants to kill you. But she doesn't say that because she's being weird.
Yeah, I don't know why she's being so, secretive about it. But there's a lot of, I think, both intentionally and unintentionally funny things in this movie. And a lot of the, logic doesn't really hold up, of course, which is an issue that you're always gonna have. Like, one thing that I felt was really stupid, and, they didn't really address it in the movie, is early on when the media first kind of grabs hold of the story, there's a point where the two daughters, Janet and Margaret, are being interviewed. And during the course of the interview, the interviewer is like, oh, well, let's try to make contact with the spirits right now and see what happens. So he starts asking questions, you know, who are you? And what are you doing here? And Janet eventually kind of slumps down and sort of changes, and she starts speaking with this weird, you know, my name is what? I can't even do it.
My name is Bill Wilkins.
Yes, exactly. What are you buying?
What are you buying? Hello, stranger. I love
exactly
that. I love that guy.
But
Man, put that guy in the movie.
She's talking with this voice and she's answering the questions that, you know, he's asking.
Yeah.
And then later, when Ed and Lorraine come and they're trying to gather evidence, they want to, like, replicate this thing that they heard about. But they say that they want to make sure that it's not a ventriloquism thing, so they have Janet put water in her mouth and then try to talk to the spirit to see if they can hear the voices without Janet moving her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand this because in the initial scene, she is moving her mouth. Like, there's no suggestion that it was like a disembodied voice coming from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like, she's clearly speaking.
Right.
And everyone is aware of that.
Right.
So I don't understand why now they would be like, oh, well, just put some water in your mouth so we can see if it comes from behind you. When, like, that's not like the
no, yeah, well, and then the skeptic later, when they're all kind of going over the evidence for and against all of this, points out that, like, I mean, because, like, when they do the water in the mouth test, they're all looking at her, and then Ed's like, would it help if we all, like, turned away? And she was like, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. And so they all turn around, and then, of course, when they're not looking at her, that's when, and, you know, and, like, the camera work is, like, cool, because
it is cool.
They blur it. Ed's kind of the focus. He's the one, you know, conducting the interview at this point, and he's in focus, and where she is in the chair in the corner is all, like, obscured, but you do see, like, a weird physical change from Janet into this other figure that is now sitting in the chair, and then, like, when they all go to turn back around, it, like, morphs back. So that's cool. The implication being that she is actually possessed, right?
Right.
And this starts to get into, like, my problem with, like, some of this being the, you know, what happens here. But anyway, the skeptic says, oh, she could have just spit the water out when you all turned around, and then before you turned back around, she put more water in her mouth. Like, there's no, you don't know that because nobody was watching her. They didn't set up a camera to put on her or anything like that. And at the end of the movie, they play the actual recording from when I think the TV interviewer was interviewing her, and Janet does the voice and everything. And so you get to hear what was actually recorded. Interestingly, the recording of that they did if Ed did it at all, when the Warrens did the interview, we don't get to hear that one.
Right.
And I'm like, so...
Right. Yeah. So it's just weird. It's like, clearly she could have faked it, but also, again, she never claimed that the voice would come anywhere but from her mouth. Yeah. So, like, why did we have to do this whole water trick? Yeah. It was so frustrating to me, because I'm like, it would kind of be like if I said the sky is blue, and then you're like, well, in order to prove that, I'm gonna make you fly to the moon. Yeah. And it's like, but that's not relevant to my claim that the sky is blue. Right. It's a totally different issue.
Yeah. No, it's, I don't know. I think the case itself isn't as compelling. I think it also kind of, like, Ed and Lorraine shift from the first movie having this, like, organic entry into it where, like, the family is desperate for help. Right. And so they, like, seek them out, and, you know, they don't know who they are, and they come over and they're like, yeah, we'll look at it, but we're not sure about it. And then we discover that, yes, this is in fact happening here through this lens. And in this movie, they're being sent by the church. So now we're, like, looking into this, and I understand that we're trying to set up that, like, the church isn't necessarily fully buying into it. That's why we're sending Ed and Lorraine in and everything. But it kind of shifts to making them these, like, paranormal superstars, and I get that in real life they were pretty, like, famous characters and everything, but that is also surrounded by controversy. Yeah. And I think one of my issues with the second movie in particular is that we're starting to veer into the territory of, like, in real life you can believe whatever you want to, whether these things actually happened or not. The reality is probably didn't, because, at
least not the way
at least not the way, like, there are some things, like, the police had the report saying, like, the chair moved, and, like, that is an actual thing that got reported about. Right. But they bring up in the movie that there are incentives for certain people to have lied about certain things, like the mom having already applied for new housing or something like that. So she has every incentive to lie about this.
Right.
And, you know, use this as like a media thing to get money in or whatever, you know. But what the movie is doing is saying, no, this is definitely real and happening because Ed and Lorraine's here. And like now we have this like weird story about Valak, this demon character that's now been introduced. It's the nun character. The name is Valak. If you are in the Conjuring universe at all, that's important, like in the other ones, but don't worry about it here too much. And so it seems like it's simultaneously being like this is real and happening, but also this thing about Valak, this weird demon thing, also kind of has to be real, which that didn't happen. Like that's not part of it.
That's
I don't know.
All just fabrication for Hollywood.
And the first movie doesn't have any of that. They just show up at a house where, like, again, believe whatever you want to, whether or not the parents were actually being haunted or like whatever. But like they just show up and they solve it, and then they're not being haunted anymore, and they're like, job well done, we're out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this one, and I would be curious to know if Ed and Lorraine's screen time, like, skyrocketed significantly in this movie compared to the second one, because it feels like they got positive feedback from the first movie, and so then they were like, okay, we're gonna turn this into Ed and Lorraine Warren fan service of like they're these superheroes who go out and, you know, help people and solve issues, and they're these like harbingers of truth and whatever. Yeah. And I don't like that. Yeah. Like I kind of want them to be a lesser part of this. Like I understand using them and their experiences because they have so much of it documented and because they're well known and people are intrigued by them, having them be a through line to these stories. But I don't necessarily like turning them into these like heroes when they are actually kind of controversial figures.
Yes, they're extremely controversial figures.
Right.
Anybody in exorcisms is a controversial figure.
Right.
So like it's wild to be like, no, they are the heroes of this. And I'm like, yeah, compared to the demon that's like trying to kill a little girl, sure, anybody's a hero.
Right.
But like...
You know who the real hero is, though? The real hero of this story is Vic Nottingham, the across the street neighbor.
Yeah.
Who he's like really present throughout this story. Like guy. When they first decide they need to leave the house because shit really kicks up. Like they run across the street in the middle of the night.
Yep.
And this guy goes by himself into the house where they're saying someone is, and he looks at everything and then like comforts them and lets them stay the night. And in the big climax, you know, he not only did he fucking drive Ed and Lorraine to the train station, then drove them back, then broke down a door with a little tiny hand axe.
I gotta say, he broke down the door with a little tiny hand axe. It took him forever to get through that.
It took a while. He's a husky guy, okay? He wasn't prepared to do that.
Put your weight into it, man.
Yeah, but he's the greatest neighbor of all time.
Yeah, no.
And we should all be so lucky as to have a Vic in our life.
Vic rules.
Give me more of him. Where's his spinoff?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to, I guess, put into words. I really like the first Conjuring. It's a movie that I go back to. I really like watching it. I think it's fun.
And it's scary.
And it is scary. There's, you know, everyone, especially if you've seen it, but even if you haven't, probably knows of the clap thing. Like that is an iconic part of that movie. I also feel like they do like a really good job of like setting up in the first Conjuring movie being in that house. Like they move in, we get to kind of know the spaces, but not like super well, but like well enough that you know like where kind of everything is located, and then things start happening. Whereas in this movie, it's like the house is not that big. So it's not, you don't necessarily get that same sense of disorientation from it, but like also we don't spend a lot of time like getting to know where everything is, and so you still kind of feel disoriented going around it. I don't find the characters as compelling. I don't think that the case is as compelling. To me, it's a lot easier to be like, the kids were just making shit up in this one. And I think, like, you know, you can listen to this and say, like, okay, you just really didn't like the movie. I think, though, the more important thing is, to me, especially, like, with distance from the movie, that, to me, feels more of, like, a failing of the actual movie, that I didn't have the buy-in, like, the same level of buy-in that the first one had.
I wasn't as invested.
Yeah, because you could say, like, well, they're both based on true stories, you know, or whatever, and they both have Ed and Lorraine Warren, and, you know, they're the kind of the heroes in the first one too, and they're the heroes in all of them.
They're both haunted families.
Yeah, they're both haunted families. So, like, what's really the difference? And I'm like, I don't know, this one just didn't have the same buy-in that the first one has. And I don't know, just pausing a movie to, like, get up and go to the bathroom doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Sometimes you just gotta go to the bathroom, right? And whatever. There's only been, like, one other one that we've watched on the podcast where I was like, I paused it and was like, I'm gonna go make coffee, because, like, it was fucking dragging. And this one was, like, right up there with it, where I was just like, the last bit of the movie, the most exciting climactic part, I was basically zoned out by the end of it,
and
I just don't care anymore. You know, I think one of the failings of this one, especially when you compare it to the first one, is that in both of them, nobody dies. You know what I mean? And, like, that's not necessarily a problem, but we've now done that twice, and we're, like, especially at the end of, like, a 2-hour slog in the second one, nobody's gonna die. And it just starts to feel like we're just doing the same movie again, and it's, like, not as good, and we're doing this whole Crooked Man thing, which, like,
don't even fucking get me started.
The visual thing on the Crooked Man is cool, because it's not CGI.
Strongly disagree. I think the visuals on the Crooked Man look like trash, and it's actually my biggest... If you entirely took the Crooked Man out of this movie, I would bump it up by 2 points.
I don't think it's necessary. I think, to me, feels like it's thrown in to just, like, here's another scary thing to go on. So I don't think it's necessary at all. I just wanted to give a shout out because it's mostly not CGI. There are some, like...
Somehow they made it look
But
like
it does,
CGI.
There are some things that do, like, when he first shows up, he definitely looks like CGI.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of how he's introduced, like, transforming from the dog into
Baron.
Yeah.
The best.
But, you know, I don't know. It's just, like, it's not a terrible movie. It's just, like, I don't care that much about it.
Yeah.
You know? And it sucks because you're coming off of the first one, and I would tell anybody to watch the first one.
Yeah. I think another thing that I'll say, just to kind of go over some of the pacing issue, is that in the kind of lead up, we're sort of getting a montage of, like, Ed and Lorraine getting, like, incorporated into the family and trying to give them hope for the future and all this stuff. So we have 3 things that happen in short order.
Yeah. And
all of them, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we could have just cut all of this out.
Yeah. And
then, like, 1, we'd be under 2 hours. So, boom.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
2, like, we wouldn't be completely changing the mood. So we have Ed and Lorraine come to the house, and they're like, oh, we have to bring music into the house, but the record player's not working. So Ed does his Elvis impression and plays an acoustic guitar and plays all of I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, which was just wildly unnecessary and, like, did not need to exist in the movie. But we already have him doing this kind of goofy thing because he's doing the Elvis impression with the lip snarl and the thank you very much and all that. Yeah. And then right after that, we have a scene where they're setting up all the equipment in the house, and he picks up a big, clunky 70s camera that is resting on his shoulder, and he's moving it around, and he goes, wow, it's so light. It's so light and compact. Yeah. And it's clearly supposed to be a joke for us, because it's like, it's not light and small. You know, it's a big camera. And then immediately after that, he goes into the flooded basement, and when he opens the door and sees the flooded basement, he goes, bloody hell. Yeah. Which is funny because he's not British. And so it's like, why are we getting 10 solid minutes?
It's the Patrick Wilson Comedy Hour.
Yes. What the fuck was that?
I don't know. It's truly, and I think it's like, I think it's supposed to be like character development, to be like, no, look how much they care about the kids. Yeah, he's so
funny
like,
and
they're
great.
So good with the kids and everything, and look how good of people they are. And I'm like, again, these are real people. They're controversial figures. Maybe they were cool with kids. I don't know. I never met him and I don't care that much. But it's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't really serve the plot of this movie for him to be like, rah, 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 and, you know,
Yeah.
playing Elvis.
Oh,
and
it's so small and light.
you know,
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and like, I know, like, in the grand scheme of things, like, it's such a nitpick to be like, oh, he had like one little throwaway line saying bloody hell, but it's like, when your movie hits the 2-hour mark, we need to really be evaluating what needs to be in this movie and what doesn't.
Fucking edit.
And if it saves 2 seconds here, 3 seconds there, that's gonna add up to minutes.
Right.
To shave down that runtime, because like, again, you're on a timer until I'm like, I'm gonna make myself some coffee to get through the rest of this fucking thing. I'm busy and I got things to do and I'm tired.
Right. Yeah. I do also, I know we've been shitting on this movie a lot. I want to talk about some of the good things.
Yes, let's switch gears.
Personally, with the exception of The Crooked Man, I know you feel differently.
Yeah.
I think The Crooked Man is dog shit. But aside from The Crooked Man, I actually love a lot of the cinematography, and the James Wan does have a way with his directing that is very special, and I understand why he is such a goat in the horror world.
Sure.
Because of those scenes like when she's out of focus in the chair in the background and we see the sort of slowly morphing shape, but it's not clear, so you kind of have that sensation of, am I just like filling in what I want to see?
Yes.
You know, it's well done. And we have another scene like that where Lorraine is looking at the terrifying nun painting that has now been lovingly placed on the wall for some fucking reason.
It's been hung in the office and it's like in the darkest fucking corner. The worst.
Yeah, but she has a really cool scene where like the lights go down and she's sort of slowly approaching the painting because the eyes look like a little bit different.
Well, it's like they have like pupils in them now,
they
where before it was
like
dark.
Real eyes as opposed to how the painting looked, and she's getting like slowly closer to it. And again, your brain is kind of doing that thing of like, shit, is that always how the painting looked? Or like, what's going on? Is this painting real now? Like, you're in that tense moment with Lorraine. And I think that that's where James Wan shines, is playing with perspective. And it's something that we loved about the first Conjuring.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talked at length in the first episode about that scene where the little girl is looking into the dark corner of her bedroom, and you as the audience are like, shit, is there something there?
Is there something there?
I can't fucking tell.
It's like just dark enough that you can like almost maybe make something out, but then you're like, but is there actually something there?
Or do I just want
there to be something there? Yeah.
And those are the moments that are so good, and I'm glad to see that he didn't lose his touch with that in this one. So I do like a lot of the cinematography, and I think it's really successful. And even some of the like set design and principal photography and all of this, like having the really cool visual of Ed and Lorraine when they're first touring the house, going into the girl's bedroom and seeing the like 150 crucifixes that are all around the wall, which later we get the cool scare of all the crucifixes turning upside down.
Yeah.
And like that kind of stuff is cool and scary.
Yeah, I think there are some really cool things that they do in this movie, and mostly it is like the camera work. I think a lot of the buy-in for the case, I don't know that that's there for me, but like you said, a lot of the perspective stuff is cool. The coolest thing with The Crooked Man for me is the scene where he like transforms from the dog and he's like chasing the one kid down. I don't remember which one it is. It doesn't matter. Was it Janet?
No, it was Billy.
Billy. Chasing Billy down the hall, and he runs into the living room because they're all now sleeping downstairs in the living room together. And he's like, wake up, is whatever. And then they all get up and they're like, what the fuck's going on? And then like they all hear the Crooked Man saying something, and you like see its shadow like getting closer,
right?
And you're like, oh shit, they're all about to see this, so like what's going on? And then the reveal is Janet comes around the corner like kind of doing a voice, and then I think she like comes to after a minute or whatever. But like they're like, that's kind of the coolest thing about it. I do want to give props to the person, like somebody actually played the Crooked Man. Again, it wasn't like all CGI. It does kind of look like it, but like apparently.
That's what I'm so confused about is like if you had gun to my head, asked me, is the Crooked Man practical or CGI?
Yeah.
I would have bet everything I own on it being fully CGI because it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Is it Doug Jones? Did they make him
No,
the
it's
Man?
a guy named Javier Botet.
Oh yeah. The guy who played the weird person at the end of Wreck.
Yeah. So, another guy who's just able to kind
of... Tall,
of...
gangly with Marfans.
Yeah. But so, like, I think it's cool, but then, like, it's, like, a weird misstep because, like, apparently it is mostly practical, but then they use, like, certain digital enhancements, but, like, it goes overboard to the point where it starts to look more like it is actually mostly CGI, even though apparently
I think
it's
they
not.
CGI'd the face, which is, like, if you're gonna CGI anything, you shouldn't do the face because that's gonna be the hardest.
The face is, like, the easiest to tell this is CGI.
Right.
And looks,
it doesn't capture those natural expressions.
What was that one movie that we watched that had to do with like I can't remember. They had like pumpkins growing in the backyard. Cobweb. Yeah. And we were like, oh, this is really good.
Oh, this is sick.
And then like the final 10 minutes, they fucking show the whole CGI thing, and I was like, oh, I don't care anymore.
Yep. And that's how I felt.
I was like, oh, and it's ruined because like you're showing me the whole thing and it's CGI, and I don't care. Once again, like, I'm not saying the answer is every single time just don't explain stuff or don't show stuff. You can show stuff, but you gotta make sure that payoff is gonna be there. You know what I mean? Otherwise, just don't. I would rather you not do it because what I'm picturing in my head is going to be way more terrifying. Usually. Anyway, but I don't know. It's fine. Do you wanna like rate it?
Yeah, we can rate it.
Potential scariest moments.
Normally I need to get my score for reference, but I know what I scored this movie. Yeah. And it's a perfect 5.
Perfect 5 for you.
Yeah.
I scored it, the highest thing I gave it was a 7. That's in performances and visuals. Weirdly, I think I normally score things a little lower than you, and this is the opposite of that. You went straight 5s across the board. I gave it 5 in every category. Yeah, I didn't rate it super high. Like I said, 7s in those 2 categories. Everything else is a 6 or a 5.5, which, so for my average is a 6.3. Yours is a 5. That brings us to a 5.7, which feels right to me. I think online you'll find that it is rated a little bit higher than that. It's not rated as high as the first one. Usually sequels aren't.
Yeah, that's a tough threshold to
But I don't know. I feel like even the third one, and this might be a little bit of a controversial take, I feel like the third one is better than this because like I feel like there's more. I don't remember
the third one enough.
I just feel like there's like more shit that goes on.
Like witches and stuff.
Yeah, there's like a witch in it. It's the whole devil made me do it thing or whatever.
I'd have to watch it again.
And like somebody's being like controlled or possessed by whatever, and there's a photograph hidden somewhere. And
spoilers.
Yeah. Anyway, like I don't know. It feels more compelling, more grabbing. This one is just like.
Yeah. More of the same, but done worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I gave it all 5s, and part of my justification for that is that anytime I would think of, oh, there's something that I really liked that might warrant a higher score, then I would always think of kind of the opposite end of the spectrum of something in that category I really didn't like that would lower it. So ultimately, I felt like the most fair thing to do, because I was kind of playing tug of war with myself, was just 5s.
Yeah.
I did also do the horniometer.
Okay.
And I gave it a 35 because Ed and Lorraine do have some good chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
And you know that they've gotten freaky a couple of times.
Yep, they had to have.
But it's not a very horny movie.
No. I was just looking it up. Annabelle actually came out in 2014. So
okay. So this was the 3rd installment of the Conjuring universe.
And you can see Annabelle briefly in this movie. But I will say, I think, kind of thinking about it, they always, at the end of these movies, have, like, Ed and Lorraine, like, tucking some artifact from whatever in their haunted museum thing that you're not allowed to, like, touch anything in. So I don't know why we have the museum, whatever. Yeah.
I think they're protecting the other. Yeah.
By creating the most cursed haunted location in the world. So, like, if anything happened, we're fucked.
We're so fucked.
I don't know, the devil spawns there. But anyway, you see Annabelle briefly in, like, the background. But I also feel like this is just, like, like, sometimes there are movies that are just meant to set up, like, it's like the origin, so that, like, the next movies that come after, we have, like, this is the launching point movie.
Right.
And sometimes those movies aren't good, but then, like, the other movies that come from it are really good. It's weird because I feel like that's kind of what this one is. Like, we set up Valak, and then, surprise, we have The Nun now. And Annabelle has become its own thing, where we have, you know, Ed and Lorraine Warren show up in those ones. And, you know, we have Annabelle and Annabelle Creation and Annabelle Comes Home, or whatever the hell, I don't know. Yeah. So, like,
and we got The Nun 2.
Yeah, Nun 2. None your business.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just not that good.
I don't love it.
It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, watch it. It's fine. I don't think it's that scary. There's nothing in it that I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah. Speaking of, I think my scariest moment, which I already kind of discussed, is the scene where Lorraine is approaching the painting and it's playing with that perspective of, are those real eyes, or do the eyes change? And then there's this, you know, kind of follow-up scare where hands, you know, reach around the side of the painting, and then the painting starts running towards her with a body.
I agree. I think that's also my scariest moment. I don't know that there's really another one.
That scene's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's pretty good.
Got me good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the scariest part to me. It's an okay movie. I will say, if we hadn't decided to put this movie on our podcast rotation, I probably wouldn't have rewatched it. Because I didn't love it the first time I saw it. Thought it was just kind of mid. And I don't know that I'll watch it again unless I really feel a calling to do, like, maybe all of the Conjuring universe movies or something. But whatever it is, it didn't click for me.
Yeah. It has the same vibe as when we did this is like a year or two ago now.
Krampus?
No. This is before we were doing the podcast, when we did, like, our Friday the 13th gauntlet.
Oh, yeah.
Where we were like, we're just going to watch every one of them. And so it was like, I don't know, several weeks. You know, when we had time.
You have to go through some stinkers.
There's some slop in there that you got to get through.
You got to go through them to get to the good stuff.
This feels not as bad as some of the lows in that, but we're, like, approaching it. You know what I mean? It's like
Friday the 13th 5 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just
like, full stop. It's just bad. This is more akin to Friday the 13th. I think it's part 7, where
the psychic
girl, where it's kind of meh.
It's kind
of
meh.
You don't really care about it. It's kind of like that. And I know that, like, unless you've seen all of them, like, that is, like, the worst comparison.
We are giving an absolutely culturally relevant
everyone knows.
Yeah. When you say, oh, on the scale of Friday the 13th movies, it's kind of Friday the 13th part 7.
You know,
everyone knows what you mean by that.
We could rework our scale to be again. But I'm saying we could rework it to be which Friday the 13th is it? Because I think we could number them
easily.
Like, this is the best one through, like, this is the worst one, so 10 through 1. And then we can say, like, if we think 5 is 1, that's the worst. Yeah, I know, this is going to be fun.
Stay with us.
Yeah, stay with me. Don't fall asleep on me. No, but if we say 5 is the worst one, so that's a 1 on our scale, and then we
maybe
can say
like Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. And then 6 is obviously 10 across the board. Yeah, it's the perfect movie. We can say that this is whatever. I guess 7 would be 5.
Sure.
Or 5 would be 7. You know, it's somewhere in there. I didn't make the scale yet, so
we haven't worked it out. So fucking get off our dick.
Calm down. Jeez. Anyway.
Maybe now I finally drop the horniometer, which only I care about, and I replace that with which Friday the 13th movie is this the cultural counterpart to?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it could work.
It could work.
We can just rate every movie on a scale of which Friday the 13th is it.
Which vibe.
Yeah, which vibe is it?
It's more of a vibe than a 1 through 10.
Yeah. And nothing else is ever going to get a 10, because Friday the 13th Part 6 is the only perfect movie that's ever been made.
Exactly. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's The Conjuring 2. When this episode comes out, I believe we're going to have a new Conjuring movie, The Conjuring Last Rites. So
should be coming out just after.
Soonish. Yeah. So, maybe we'll work our way through all the Conjuring movies.
We will. We'll get there.
Eventually.
There's a lot of movies, though, so I'm not...
Yeah, I don't know if we want to get into all the Annabelles and all the nuns and all that, but...
Chronological order.
Yeah.
I think we would have
We're
to
already
start,
off now.
Yeah, we would have had to start with Annabelle, I think.
Yeah.
Or, no, The Nun, because I think The Nun...
takes place back in the day.
Yeah, like well before Annabelle.
Yeah, back in the day. Can't do that, but yeah. we could still... No, we can't do it in release order either. Fuck.
No, yeah, we fucked it all. God, no! No!
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, if you want to watch like a perfectly mid movie, I don't know, put this on. Or don't put on like any... If
you want to see some British people and you want to hear what they call a cigarette.
Honestly, no, I don't think anybody...
said that.
Oh, they say it?
Yeah, when the neighbor is going with Peggy downstairs to do the laundry.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, she's smoking. And then the neighbor is like, well, I had me share of... when I was a kid, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even catch it. I was like...
cultural relevant,
no, I get it.
Keep it all in context.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's not... they're not saying anything that's really offensive. It's just that's what they call them, but whatever. Right. But, like, wild. I just didn't catch it because I was just so fucking over the movie. And that was probably before the first hour mark, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, definitely. Because it was before Ed and Lorraine were even introduced into the situation. But anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's amazing that we made it through the bulk of this episode. And I only did a British voice kind of right at the start. And you only just now did one. And we didn't do them like anywhere else.
That's what we call bookings, isn't it?
Circle back around on the bit,
Yeah.
You know who I am.
It's called a callback.
I'm Ed Warren. It's Jason Statham.
Why is he...
Jason Statham is Ed and Lorraine Warren. He's both of them.
Yeah, we put him in a wig.
Yeah. No, we don't. He's still... Don't put my boy in a wig.
Big ass gemstone ring on his index finger and he'll look just like Lorraine Warren.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm having a vision, isn't it?"
This vision makes me want to punch a demon right in the forehead.
The movie would be so wildly different. He shows up and he's just, "Where is he?" And he just starts punching
the air.
Fucking punching Janet. Get out of her! Get out of her!
They point out the chair and he's just fucking dun 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 dun. You want what he's having?
The ending scene where Valek's in the bedroom, he like kicks the door in and he just walks up to him and just pulls a crucifix off the wall and just starts stabbing him with it. You know who I am? I'm Lorraine Warren. Cuts over, he's dangling out of a window.
But he doesn't even, instead of getting saved, he does like a backflip.
Oh yeah, no, he fucking nails it. Yeah.
Catches Janet a second
later. He like throws her up in the air.
Yeah, and then lands in time and catch her.
It's a perfect pirouette.
Now that I would watch.
It'd be a sick movie, man.
That would actually be really sick.
It'd be so cool.
If we ever get a connection to Jason Statham, we have to make him into like a ghost hunter for a horror movie.
I think he'd do it, man. If I tell him the climax of this is you're gonna
fun with it.
Yeah, if I tell him the climax is he's gonna get to beat up a demon, he's gonna be like, hell yeah.
Yeah. So
he's so cool.
That's what we're working towards in life, is getting enough money that we can self-produce a supernatural horror movie starring Jason Statham.
Yeah.
And he also plays the demon.
Yeah.
He plays every adult character.
Yes. He plays every character. We do that digitally, like, de-aging thing where we make him all of the children, too.
What if we did, like, a Muppet crossover? Because that's another thing I'd like to do, is a Muppet horror movie. I get asked this question a lot about, like... we're through the movie now, so we're just having fun. Yeah.
I get asked this question a lot about, like, oh, if you could, like, just make any movie, like a Muppet version of it, where you have, like, one human character and then everyone else is Muppets or whatever. And I love these thought experiments about what you would do. I always try to give like the most unhinged answers to that.
Right.
Like, you know, like Lord of the Flies, but Muppets would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what a good horror movie but Muppets would be. And you have to have the one human character.
Yeah. Halloween, and the one human character is Michael Myers. So he's just going around and murdering Muppets.
No, Halloween and the one human character is Dr. Loomis.
Oh my god, no, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. The scene where he's in the bushes and the kids go, hey! I'll beat your ass! To like a bunch of Muppets, and they're just like, ah!
Yep. That would be really good. That would be great. Saw, but with Muppets.
Saw, but with Muppets would be.
We can't do the first one though, because there's not enough characters. We have to do one of the ones that has a lot of characters in it. Like
I love the idea of getting like 3 to 4 movies through the Saw franchise, not changing anything, and then Saw 5 inexplicably is the Muppet version of it. And then 6 we're back to normal. Yeah. We don't nobody acknowledges it.
Yeah. It's canon. So these ideas and more.
Yeah.
Are you independently wealthy? Do you want to make a dream come true?
You could do the first Saw movie.
Mm-hmm.
You could do all of them Muppet versions.
Yeah.
Right? The human character in the first Saw movie is, what's the doctor's name? I can't remember his name. Cary Ellis' his character. Whatever. I can't remember it right now. He's the human character.
No, not Leonard. What's his name?
Leonard.
It's not Leonard. It's not that.
I don't remember right now. It's not important. But like, he's the one human character, and you're asking, well, why would you make him the human character? It's so, and this is big spoilers if you've not seen all of them, when his character shows back up 6 movies later.
And he's the only one who has a foot to cut off.
Exactly. No, because then every other movie is going to be only Muppets, and everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? How are they? Muppet movies always have one human character. They did. He was just not on screen for most of it.
But he's in universe.
In universe, and then he shows back up, and you're like, oh my god! They did it the whole... This somehow turned into a Saw.
we have to be permitted to have some fun, okay? When we have a bad movie, we have to have some fun.
That's so good.
All right, we need to wrap it up. We're getting crazy.
I'm unreasonably excited about this idea now. I gotta do this.
All right, if you want to follow us and get connected with us through social media, we're on Instagram. It's at First Fright Pod. We're also on X or Twitter. And we have a Facebook page. It's called Love at First Fright. You can also send us an email. It's firstfrightpod@gmail.com. Send us your suggestions. What horror movie would you put Muppets in? And why is it the Saw franchise?
Yeah, it's Dr. Lawrence Gordon.
I wasn't that far off with Leonard.
Leonard's, I mean, it was an L name, so it was pretty good. It was pretty close. I had to look it up. Anyway, that's all I have to say about
that's all we got,
the movie we watched, and I have way more to say about what we were just talking about, but that'll have to wait till another time. Maybe the next Saw movie we do, we just start going through what we would do. What we would do with Muppet. We cast the Muppets in it. Oh man, I'm going to have a field day with this idea. Yeah, there's a lot of goodness here. There's a lot of meat on that bone. Anyway, I think that's it for this one, though. So, as always, scare well, and see you next time. Boy. Boy, isn't it? Boy. Get it out. It's true.